My name is Jane Borowski, host of Invisible Tears. This podcast will be about my story in my words, talking about my own personal experiences in self-healing. I do not claim to be a therapist, counselor, or a licensed psychologist.
Hello, my name is Amanda Bedard, and I'm the co-host, producer, and editor of Invisible Tears. I'm a Reiki master, certified professional life coach, spiritual coach, wellness coach, and a counseling practitioner. Some of the content you will hear in this podcast may be disturbing to some. Viewer discretion is advised. But it is our hope by putting this information out there that we may help others to heal. We will always be a platform for truth and healing. This is Invisible Tears.
Hi, I'm Jane,
And I'm Amanda, Jane's life coach,
and welcome to the Jane and Amanda Show.
where we focus on mental health and healing.
Welcome to Invisible Tears. I'm Jane, and I'm here with Amanda, my co-host, my Reiki master, my life coach, and my bestie. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Jane. What a wonderful intro. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I couldn't do this without you. Of course, this is the Jane and Amanda Show. So, going to talk about, just to let you guys get to know us a little bit better. And I want to announce that I got married
Yay!
about a week and a half ago. Married my true love of 36 years. I know people are saying, you're married after 36 years of being together. Yeah, we didn't want to rush it, I guess. So we got married. It was just me and him. And his cousin married us, Kathy. And she was so sweet. She bought me a bouquet of flowers. Said a few words about us, really sweet words about us being together, and she made it like really short and sweet, but she made it special, and it was so cool. But we got married on September 3rd, which was Dennis's parents. It would have been their 55th wedding anniversary. And we chose that date to honor them. For many years, they wanted us to get married, and you just get wrapped up with life and raising the kids, and you keep saying, "Oh, next year, next year,
Yeah.
next year," and unfortunately, they had passed, and but I felt like they were there with us.
I know that they were.
They were definitely smiling down, and I know Dennis's dad was definitely saying, "About time."
Yep.
So, but they are very special people to us. We live next door to them on the family farm, and about 7 years ago, their health started to decline, and they had expressed to me and Jess that they wanted to die at home. They didn't want to die in a nursing home.
Yep.
So we stepped right up and started helping them with their everyday, things that they needed to get done, and help them with meals and showers, and we were down there probably 4 or 5 times a day, just checking up on them. And about 5 years ago is when they became full-time care. So me and Jessica stepped it right up, and we totally 100% took care of them. And unfortunately, he passed away October of 2018, and then she passed away a few months later, March of 2019. And it was very hard. It was very hard for a lot of reasons because, one, for 5 years, our lives revolved around taking care of them. And then all of a sudden, in the matter of months, all of a sudden, we have all this free time and really didn't know how to adjust to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was difficult, and we missed them so much. When his mom passed, she missed Dad so much. I really truly believe she passed away of a broken heart.
Yeah.
Talked about him every day and missed him every day and cried every day, and it was rather heartbreaking. So it was almost a blessing in disguise to
I truly believe that happens too.
Yeah.
I truly believe that happens. Actually, my great-grandparents, it was the same thing. You know what I mean? One of my great-grandfather passed away. They were in a home. My great-grandfather passed away, and then within a couple of months, it was just, it's almost like it's my time now because they're not here.
Exactly. I mean, they spend so many years together. It's like,
absolutely.
How do you really adjust without somebody that close to you that you've actually lived your whole entire life with?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're not there.
Yeah.
It's got to be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did get married on their anniversary, and I'm very honored to have done that. It was
what a beautiful tribute.
Yeah.
What a beautiful tribute. Such a beautiful
it brings
story.
tears to my eyes.
Oh, I have tissues. I have tissues. I'm prepared just in case. But yeah, no, Jane, what a beautiful tribute. And it's as soon as you were explaining, the date and the significance, I immediately heard message that said that they were absolutely with you, and they were just so happy and so proud. And thank you so much for choosing that date.
Oh, I needed to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad. Yeah, they're special.
Yeah.
I actually knew Dennis's dad longer than I knew my own dad, because my dad had passed away when he was 57 of a massive heart attack. So I was only like 24 or 25 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I actually knew his dad longer than I knew my own dad.
Right.
And he was like a dad to me. He was so funny. He was so funny. He knew everybody. He was. They used to call him the mayor of Hinsdale.
Mm-hmm.
He just knew everybody. But I miss them, and I'm glad we did that. So after that, we the following weekend we had a cookout at our house.
Yes.
Had some very special friends come over. It was a great time. Saw people that we hadn't seen in a long time. A good friend of ours brought us a bottle of champagne, and so we all got to, even though nobody was there when we got married, we all got to toast our wedding, our marriage.
Yeah.
And that was pretty special. That was pretty cool. And it was fun. It was fun. It was a good day. Since this whole COVID thing has been going on, we just don't see our friends as much as we used to. And so having some of our closest friends were there was very, very special to us.
That's awesome.
So
sounds quite perfect too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. So you've had some stuff going on your homestead.
Yes, we have. Some people know and some people don't that Drew and myself, we live out in a small town in Nelson, and we have some land, and we homestead. We don't have a ton of farm animals, but we like to try and be as sustainable as possible. And with that being said, we have had pigs at our house for 3 years. And so we had a big sow and a boar. They were actually mating and actually had a litter at the end of July. Happy to report that that some of those babies are still going strong and crazy. And so we have 4 little pigs up at our house. But unfortunately, this past week, our big sow and boar got out of their pen, and there was not a single thing that we could actually do to get them back into their pen.
Well, how big were they?
The sow was 450 pounds and the boar was about 150. So, and they were, really tight, really, really tight. Their temperament was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, because of their size, it actually became what do I want to say? We actually started getting really worried about the safety of our neighbors. Our neighbors actually have a ton of gardens, and one of our neighbors actually has farm animals, has horses and cows too. And without us being able to actually get them safely back into their pen, they were venturing further and further towards the edge of our land. So after quite a few hours of trying to get them back into their secure location, we actually had to end up taking them out, which was something we weren't prepared to do. We were prepared to have those guys for quite some time. But unfortunately, it was something we had to do. So.
Oh, it was beyond your control.
Yeah.
You had to think about the big picture.
We had to be responsible.
Exactly.
Responsible, farm animal owners. And so we unexpectedly had to take them out, and processing, God, what is that? Almost 600 pounds of pig. We immediately had to jump into sort of, farmer mode. And so,
is this the first time you've had to process?
No, we've processed before. We've processed 2 before. But we were a little bit more prepared and a little bit more, it was a little bit more scheduled.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah. So it was really sort of going into crisis mode. We went into crisis mode, and it was just kind of hard trying to balance that and processing that and keeping our businesses open too. So since we have a retail location, the Frugal Marketplace, that only my husband and I work, it was really we actually had to close for one day, and then the next days I was just here running the show, and normally I have another set of hands, and he was just working constantly to make sure that we save some of that meat.
Yeah, exactly.
But he did a fantastic job. We got through it. I don't know how. We always seem to manage to do that. When things get thrown at us, we just team up and divide and conquer.
Yeah, you guys are amazing together. You really are.
Thank you.
You really are.
I think it helps that we know each other so well, and we have a really true friendship and bond before even being husband and wife, that we know how to appropriately deal with each other. We know what each other can take, and we're really respectful of that. I think first and foremost, we have respect for each other. So
you guys have amazing communication with each other too. I see that all the time.
Oh, thank you.
You can tell that you guys aren't just married. You guys are truly best friends. And
he truly is my best friend. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I've known Andrew for a long time, and I
Yes,
don't
you
think
have.
I've ever, I mean, even though sometimes you guys are struggling, I don't think I've ever seen him so happy. And I'm so grateful he married you, because I got to meet you.
Oh, I love you too.
I love you. So I think today we're going to talk about the financial impact on a victim that people don't always realize.
Yeah, I think that it's, unless you've been put into a situation where you or a loved one or somebody within your household racks up extensive hospital bills and bills associated with some sort of accident that happens to them, it's something that people don't think about until they have to go through. So I think this is a fantastic topic, because it's really bringing some light to that, adding that piece to the struggle of healing.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. Shortly after my attack, of course, the doctor bills and the hospital bills started coming in,
Mm-hmm.
came in the mail, and I just kind of pushed them to the side. They're not my bills, they're his bills. And then the phone calls started. The hospital wanted their money. And so I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Still can't forget that I was still in my early 20s at this time.
Right.
And didn't really have to deal with this stuff before. So I kind of just, they're doctor bills. To me, they mean nothing. Push them to the side. Don't want to pay them.
Right. And why should you have to? Like you said, they're not your bill. Like you didn't.
Oh, exactly. I didn't, as far as I'm concerned, it was the monster's bills.
Right.
I didn't ask to be attacked. I didn't encourage him to attack me.
Exactly.
I was the victim. I had no control over this whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So my medical bills in all totaled about $160,000, which in 1988 was a lot. That was a lot.
In 1988, that would probably almost be $500,000 today.
Probably.
Yep.
Probably. Yep. So I did go to the state to see if I could get some help because I didn't have insurance. And the state turned me down and said that Dennis made too much money at that time. And I had to use him because I was living with him.
Right.
So he had to use his income as household income.
Yep.
And at the time he was this is kind of funny. He was making $8.50 an hour. Okay. Yep. And that put us over the threshold to get any kind of financial help for the medical bills.
Right.
Through the state. So what else could I do? I ignored the bills. The hospital took me to court.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted their money.
Now, during this time, were you working?
I was not.
Okay.
Nope, I was not.
Yep.
So I got the letter in the mail with a court date. So I'm thinking, I'll explain to the judge what happened.
Right.
Maybe, work something out and, maybe he'll show a little compassion.
Absolutely.
So I went to court and got up and explained the whole situation about my attack and how I wasn't working, how I got turned down for state aid for medical. And this judge showed zero compassion towards my situation whatsoever. So he actually court ordered. Now, these two words are very important.
Yeah.
He court ordered me to pay $60 a month to the hospital. And my first response was, that is going to take me forever.
Right.
And his response was, yeah, it probably will. So I left thinking, I've got to pay these people $60 a month. Now, remember, this is court ordered.
Right.
Well, I paid 1 month, and then I decided not to pay again. Well, the sheriff came knocking on my door.
Uh-oh.
Because remember I said this was court
ordered.
ordered.
Yep. Remember that. Yep.
And the sheriff came. I had to pay $25 to bail myself out of jail. And I had to go back to court and stand in front of the same judge that court ordered me to pay these bills. So I went back to court, stood in front of him, and he explained to me when he court orders someone or myself to pay something, I am to pay it. So,
Yeah, zero compassion, huh?
zero compassion.
Absolutely.
Zero.
Is this the only judge that was over? Because this would have been in Hinsdale, right?
No, it was in
No.
Keene.
It was in Keene. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yep. So it wouldn't have been the only judge.
No,
Got it.
I don't know if there was another one. I know he was the same one that I had to go in front of as I did. He was the same one as the first one.
Right.
So, so every month I paid that bill, $60, sent that check, which, I mean, it was a constant reminder
Exactly.
of what happened to me. Like every month I had to think about my attack because I had to write that check. And it was just a constant reminder. And it really, and it sucked. I hated it. I mean, there were times that, $60 a month doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have 2 kids and, you're living paycheck to paycheck, $60 a month can pay a light bill or can pay, it could buy food,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
and it was frustrating to me because I felt very strongly that these were not my bills. So I would write little things on my checks in the little memo box there, like not my bill, or the monster should pay this, or
Yep.
this is his bill, not my bill. I guess I did it to maybe try to make myself feel a little better as I'm writing these checks.
To have a little bit of control for yourself. You know what I mean? That's that little memo field was really the only piece of control that you could have,
Yeah. Pretty much.
having to have that constant reminder. I
My
can't
little-
imagine.
My little release of frustration.
Exactly.
So, so I paid those bills for about 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
I never missed a payment.
Mm-hmm.
In 1989, a year after my attack, a victim advocate contacted me about helping to pass the Victim Compensation Fund that is funded by Federal Victims of Crime Act, or it's called VOCA grants, and not by New Hampshire taxpayers. New Hampshire taxpayers do not fund this.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, New Hampshire was one of only 6 states that did not have this program. So, of course, I wanted to help. So I wrote a letter to the New Hampshire Senate about my attack, and I talked about my financial struggles and the impact it had on me because of my attack, and it was turned down the first time. They didn't vote it in.
So the Senate didn't vote it in after you sent the letter.
Exactly.
Do you know how the victim advocate, was it just because your attack was so publicized?
I
that
do.
they
I think
contacted
it
you?
was
Okay.
because it was so publicized. And at the time, they were really trying to push this through.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay,
And,
got it.
and so they thought, contact me. I would be the perfect example of, this
Spokesperson.
does, a crime like this does happen in New Hampshire. It does happen in small towns. I mean, Swansea is such a small town where my attack happened that they virtually had no real major crimes,
Right.
especially violent crimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they contacted me, I believe, because they saw it, probably read my story or read about what happened to me in the paper.
Right. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. And now back to our episode.
So, after they turned it down, I appeared in person to tell my story. It was probably about a year later. And they passed it. So in 1991, they adapted the Victim Compensation Fund in New Hampshire, which I am very, very proud of because
As you should be.
this program is amazing. And I don't think a lot of people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll talk a little bit about the program and describe the program and how it helps victims. It helps with medical bills. It helps with mental health counseling.
Yeah.
Lost wages. If a victim is, if it's a domestic victim,
Mm-hmm.
domestic violence victim, it'll help to relocate them to a safe place.
That's fantastic.
It helps with gas, paying for gas expenses to go to doctor's appointments or meeting with the prosecutor or advocate. It also helps families of a homicide victim with funeral costs and mental health counseling for them.
Wow, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that it actually went that far.
It does. And it also helps families of homicide victims, setting them up with an advocate to go to court if the person is being prosecuted. The advocate will go to court with them and help them with court dates and stuff like that. And they also set up victims with advocates to help them with court appearances.
Mm-hmm.
This program has helped thousands of people in just New Hampshire. And the program goes on and on. There's so much more that they do for victims and homicide victim families. And it's just such a good program. And it's out there. And unfortunately, the program was unable to help me because my attack happened before the program.
Before it was established.
Exactly. So unfortunately, it wasn't able to help me, but it does help others. And that's important.
So when you say that you went and helped to get this passed, did you go and actually speak in front of Senate?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, I did. And I just wanted them to know that this program was needed in New Hampshire. I mean, logically, it should be, if it's federally funded, it should be in every single state.
I agree.
Crime happens everywhere.
Absolutely.
It does not discriminate.
No, it does not.
It doesn't pick and choose what state they want to, it happens in. So, but it did get passed. I'm very proud of this. I'm glad that I was a part of it.
As you should be. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Jane, even though you personally didn't benefit from the actual program itself, I mean, from you said 1991, right?
Yes.
1991, it was finally passed. Because of that, you've helped so many people.
Exactly.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That's why I feel so good about it.
You should.
Not that I'm bragging. I just feel good about it.
Yeah. Well, you're allowed to brag. You're allowed to brag. You helped pass this amazing piece of legislation. And I didn't realize that the Victim Compensation Fund actually helped the families of victims as well, which is so fantastic, which I think a lot of people can forget too, how much the families of victims can be affected, especially financially. Not everybody has, has life insurance. Not everybody has a plan.
Exactly. And I mean, you can't predict a crime. So, how do you prepare for something like that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but it's a wonderful program. It's there to help people. And I'm going to put the website.
Absolutely. We'll not only put it
And-
on the website, but we'll also make sure that we add it into the description of this episode as well, so people can go ahead and if you need this victim compensation fund, we'll have all the contact information on here.
So I also am a strong believer in good karma.
Ooh, so am I.
You do good, and you get compensated for it in some form.
Right.
So over the years, I continued writing those dreadful checks every month to pay my doctor bills or pay the hospital.
Yeah.
And in October of 2010, I wrote that check out, $60, mailed it, and I don't know, about 3 weeks later, I got the check back with an invoice stating that the remainder of my bill was paid. So, of course, I was apprehensive about this, and I was like, oh,
Of course.
they must have made a mistake.
Yeah,
Something,
absolutely.
they had to make a mistake. And, of course, it's court ordered.
Exactly. We've court ordered has been drilled into the head. So, yeah, you're like,
And
no,
it's
not paid in
quote
full.
unquote court ordered.
Right.
I went to the hospital with the bill and my check, and I said, I think there was a mistake somewhere. And she looked it up, and she said, no, it's paid. Somebody came in and paid it in full. And we're talking over $90,000 here.
That is insane.
Somebody came in and paid over $90,000 on my doctor bill, which is, and nobody really knew that I was making these payments.
Right.
Nobody really knew that I had gone to court and I was dealing with all this crap. So till this day, I have no idea who did it.
I was going to ask that. Do you have any clue?
No
Any
clue.
clue? No clue.
I don't know
Wow.
anybody with $90,000.
Right.
You know, and but I'm grateful.
Of course.
And whoever did this, thank you. I would love it if you came forward and told me so I could thank you in person.
Absolutely.
But I want to say thank you for that. And, you know, that was good karma. You know,
Absolutely.
I did something good, and in return, somebody did something good for me. And so now I do not have, and it's felt so good not to have to write that check anymore.
I bet.
Not to have that reminder, that negative reminder every month. And it feels great. It's one less thing I have to think about and deal with.
Absolutely.
And it may seem little. It may seem, you know, small. Oh, $60 a month. It wasn't so much the money.
Right.
It was the reminder.
Exactly. It was the principle.
Exactly.
It was the principle of the fact that you had to remember and do that every single month. I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing that an anonymous person paid your bill. And that absolutely is, you know, that just goes to show you the universe works in mysterious ways, and karma can most definitely come back to you. I mean, you've done so much good in your life that I wish the anonymous person would come forward too, so I can thank them for you too.
I do. You know, there's good people in this world.
There are.
And, you know, to want to pay that amount of money on something and anonymously, and, you know, it's like, you know, oh, I don't want to take credit for this, but I want to help her.
Right.
It is the way that I look at it. And that's a pretty amazing person to me.
It is. That's a true act of good.
Yes, it is. Yes. Unselfish. So because of people like that, I'm always trying to give back.
Mm-hmm.
And always trying to give back. And, it's, we're all human. And some people may not show they need help or show that they're struggling or anything like that. But people do see. And, there are a lot of people out there that help others and just do it out of the kindness of their heart. And I think if we had more people like that in this world would be a much better place.
I think so too.
So my goal every day when I wake up, and I've been doing this for over 10 years since my counseling started, my goal every morning I wake up, I say to myself, even before I even get out of bed, today I am going to be a better person than I was yesterday. Mm. Does it always work that way? No. But I try to be. And I do that every day. And most of the time, I feel like I am a better person, today than I was yesterday. It reminds me that I am a good person.
Right.
And it reminds me that even though I've had a struggle that one day, or I was being mean or grumpy or, just wasn't a good person or did something that made me not a good person that day, I know the next day I can work a little bit harder. Mm-hmm. And that's what I strive for.
It's a beautiful affirmation to start your day with. You're essentially setting your intention and setting your vibration and setting the tone for your day.
Exactly. I know over the years I find myself, if I see somebody in the store, not that I know them, but I smile and say hi to more people now.
Yep.
Because you don't know what kind of day they're having. That smile and that hi or hello could have changed their whole day.
Absolutely.
And you don't know.
You know how many times I've given compliments to complete strangers, just the simplest, like I will observe, someone I don't know, maybe they're actually in my store, or maybe I'm passing them on the street, or maybe I'm just around them shopping in the same place. If I notice something and it's a compliment, it doesn't matter if I don't know them or not, I will purposely, that is an absolutely beautiful dress. It brings out your eyes, and just smile and walk away. And that doesn't do anything for me. That is just me voicing and hoping that something like that can help brighten someone's day, maybe help bring up or help raise their vibration. You never know what somebody's going through. And something just as simple as, an act of kindness
exactly
can completely change someone's day, week, month.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, I'm a big one of... And I've been doing it for so long, and nobody's ever bought me a coffee. Not that I'm doing it because I want a payback or whatever, but Dunkin' Donuts drive-through.
Oh yeah, you do the pay it forward.
There is not a time that I drive through there I don't pay it forward. Mm-hmm. I always pay it forward.
Yeah.
I always pay for the person behind me, and I always, most of the time I get beeps and waves and as I'm pulling away when they're finding out that I bought their coffee or whatever. Yeah. But it's I'm sure there had been one or two times when somebody might have been scrounging for change or just, somebody bought me a coffee. That just brightened their day,
Absolutely.
And that's why I do it. That's why I do it.
You're so amazing.
I will say, nobody has ever bought me a coffee.
Oh, my heart. Oh.
But that's okay. I'm good with that.
It'll happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I get paid back in different ways.
This is true.
Like my doctor bills.
Mm-hmm. That's just amazing. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah, I cried that day.
Yes.
I couldn't believe that somebody went in and did that anonymously.
Right.
I don't know how they did it anonymously. I mean, that's a lot of cash to walk in, but I'm sure they did it somehow anonymously. And yeah, it was pretty amazing.
That really is. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Couldn't have happened to a better person.
Oh, thank you.
You're most
Thank you.
welcome. So as we stated earlier, information on the Victim Compensation Fund will be in the description of this podcast episode. But also for more information, you can visit www.doj.nh.gov or call toll-free 1-800-300-4500 or 603-271-1284 for more information. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Invisible Tears. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, hear all future episodes. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We also have a website, invisible-tears.com, where you can keep current with any events that may be happening with our podcast, read more about Jane and the team, and read more about all the Connecticut River Valley unsolved cases.
If you are looking for everyday items, clothes, collectibles, or a gift for that special someone, you can support us further by checking out our retail store, the Frugal Marketplace. We can be found at thefrugalmarketplace.com or search for us on eBay and Poshmark. We hold an online claim sale on Facebook Live every Monday night at 7 p.m. where you can find our latest items for sales or items at a deep discount. If you're local to the area, please stop in and say hi. You can find us at 919 West Swansea Road in Swansea, New Hampshire. The links for our products can be found in our show notes.
If you want to learn more about my wellness practice, Guided Path Wellness, head to guidedpathwellness.org. There you can read more about me and my certifications, more about the Reiki and coaching services I offer both in person and remote, and read all about my products for sale that I make through the practice. Feel free to utilize the Contact Us section on the website with any questions, or utilize that free 15-minute consultation booking button if you have any questions about what might work for you. Evil may exist in this world, but we will not let it win. See you next episode.